Right, so now we want to create the login page. So what we want to do is we should create everything in the app itself, in the app router. So in here, we know that page TSX is essentially a guarded page. So what we want to do is we want to create a new page, but for the login. And the way we do that is in app itself, it goes in slash order. So think of this as slash, and then this will be home. So what we want to do is we want to do / login. So in here, we simply just create a new folder. This is called login. And in this login folder, what we want to do is create a page.tsx in here. So page.tsx in here like that. And refce, this is going to be the login page like that. And I'm just going to do login like that. So if I save, and now instead of the 404 page, we now have the login page in here. So that's how you would quickly do it. It's quite simple. Any folder inside here, you do the same again. So if you wanted /login/ test, for example, you would do a new folder in here and then do test. And then in that test folder, you would do page.tsx. But that's how you would do that. So in the login page itself, we have a few bits of content that we need. So if we go into the login page on our final build, so I've kept it quite simple. We have a form and a image like so. And don't worry about the styling. We're not focusing on that. If you want to focus on the styling more, then you can watch the Tailwind crash course that I've made. But this was just to show you that based on the brand, you can render a different image like that. And we need to focus on the image later, actually. So we'll focus on the theme and the context and how everything ties in together. But for now, we have two elements, this one here, which is the form, and this one here, which is the image itself. So let's go ahead and configure everything. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is we have two sections in the login page. So the first section actually is the div, which is the left-hand column. So let me just bring that in actually. And we have a login form. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring in this login form as a component. And if I just copy what I have a login form, we have an import, and we also have a button. So in my components folder, I'm going to paste in a button, which essentially is a button component that is reused. You can do many things with that, but that's essentially what it is. A button, it has an on-click, a type, and classes itself for whatever it needs to render. You can customize this button based on your brand as well, which I'll show you how to do later on. But that is the button there. We also have an import. So let me just copy the input, which is the input field that we need for the login form. And then we also have the login form itself. And this will all be available as well in the code repo. So you can check this out if you want to, but essentially it's just a login form. And in here now, all I need to do is paste this in. So now let me save all. And I actually need to add a class name to the outer div as well of the login page. So let me just add that in and save. And now let's go ahead in the browser and refresh the page. And now you can see we have our login form working in here. So that's fine. Go ahead and go back into the layout.tsx over here. You can see here we have a HTML and body. But what we should do is we should have a header in here like this, which basically renders the header out for us. And then underneath we can have the children. You could also have the footer underneath over here like that, but we don't have a footer in this build, so I'm just going to keep it simple for now. And then we have a duplicate one in the home page, so we need to delete that one. So let me delete everything in here, and essentially the home page has a main tag like so. So that's how simple it is. All you need to do is essentially just have everything in your layout that is going to be reused, and then that way it's applied to every single page across the app. So what I actually should do is in the login page, instead of this being a div, this should be a main as well. And now let me save. And now let's check the login page to see if the header's been applied, which it has done. If we go back to the home page, you can see the header's still there. It's remaining consistent, which is good. So now what we want to do is also add in the image. So let me go ahead and add in the image. So we have the left-hand column here. Now what I want to do is also do the right-hand column. So let me just quickly paste this in over here, which essentially is the right-hand column, which is the image like so. And again, we're using next image. So let me just import that in. And for now, this stuff we don't have. So what I'm going to do is just quickly comment this out, and we're going to do our own source in here, which essentially is going to be hard, is going to be manually inputted. So we'll do bg, and let's import bg at the top. So import bg from public slash, and then we will import it from ss login bg like that. And then we also need an alt tag. So alt tag is going to be named as login background like that. So let me save this, and then you can see now everything in our browser over here is rendering, and you have the background image in here. So now you can see the image rendering, but there's something a little off here. And we'll give this a margin. So let's give it an MX of 20. But I'm not going to focus on the styling too much because we want to get to the actual multi-brand part of the build. So we've given it a bit of a margin, and the image is quite large, so we can reduce the image or whatever it may be. But for now, let's just keep it as that. So this is the login page done. What we want to do next is the home page itself. But what we want to do is fetch products. So if you go into this home page, you can see these are products that are being fetched from an external API. So what we'll do is do that next.